everybody to Mangoseed Selectors. Today we have with us the wonderful Jennifer Kamikazi. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm really great, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No worries. So she's in the Selectors chair today, and we're going to talk a little bit about your music, and we're going to talk about one of the albums that you really loved, that shaped you. And also, like with every episode, all the music that we talk about today are going to be in the show notes at the end. So click on it, have a listen, go and find Jennifer on Instagram. Her Instagram is hilarious. And she is just a brilliant artist. So Jennifer, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been making music? That kind of thing.
Okay, so I'm Jennifer, I'm from Barking, East London. My journey into music is quite unique from other people because I actually never sang, probably sang publicly once when I was like 16, but that's because it was like my friend was doing some kind of talent show and she just wanted backup singers. Didn't know what to do, but I thought, I'll back it. She's a friend. But I'd never thought about music. I'd never even, I love listening to music. I actually grew up listening to R&B and hip hop, but I'd never fathomed the idea of even singing. I didn't even know I could sing until I was 18. I started playing the guitar, and then I thought, okay, you know what? Now that I play guitar, I should start maybe try and write some songs and sing. And even then I just thought something to do for fun. Did my university degree, never thought about it again until it comes to that critical time where you're thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And I actually had a mentor who said, oh, Jen, you sing, don't you? And I was like, yeah. He was like, you think about singing? And I was like, no, I actually never thought about singing. And I was like, so I did a biochemistry degree and it was pretty decent. It was fun. I grew up as a nerd, loved science and stuff. And I was like, I actually don't want to do that. And I honestly tell you, I became a musician within the space of a year. I wrote songs, went into the studio, recorded them. And even then I was just like, I'm just going to do it. Again, not really thinking ahead. And it got such an awesome response. I was like, oh, maybe this is something that I should do.
That's incredible, man. So you did a degree in biochemistry?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. so you're a chemist, essentially?
Essentially, yeah. Probably would have been not a very good one, but...
So why didn't you like it? Why didn't you like?
I just feel like music is songwriting and singing has always been something that flows very naturally to me. You know, in terms of when I started doing it. So I'd normally, because I'm dyslexic. So even though I was a bit of a nerd, it took a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Do well for something. And again, a bit of a perfectionist as well, and not to do stuff. So it was kind of like agitating not able to work and show that I don't know, but with music, you could just sit there and there's no right or wrong answer. You just speak your mind. So that really appealed to me, and really set me free, even though I didn't know. My mum would tell you, I was one of those people where they asked, what do you want to do with your life? I'm like, I don't know, whatever, I'll just get a job. I don't have any passions,
Hang on, so you started playing guitar when you were 18?
Yeah.
Man, you can play. You can play. I mean, the way that we met you is that we played at Sofar Sounds with you. And it was beautiful. The way that you play guitar is so reminiscent of African high life music. It's all Salif Keito and Baba Mal and those that kind of music. It's really wonderful. I can't believe you started playing guitar when you're 18. That blows me away a little bit.
I love picking and stuff, and to be honest with you, I actually consider myself as sort of I don't know, beginner plus, you know, I wanna like get better at it, but yeah. So that's I love like the rhythmic playing, that kind of thing, folk style, and yeah, it's actually funny because again, I moved into a genre that I'd really wouldn't have made sense considering like I grew up listening to R&B and hip hop.
Yeah.
Most of my background, you know, I grew up in Rwanda, so I was around that kind of like folky
Yeah.
That then made me sort of appeal more to the folk side of things.
So is that kind of where the influence comes from? Is that growing up in Rwanda and having listening to that kind of music is because it feels like a real your style feels like a real blend of kind of modern folky singer-songwritery stuff and that African, that very, very, like nobody plays music like that West African feel of how they pluck the guitars, and like nobody else plays music like that.
That's where I want to go. I wouldn't say I'm there yet. Don't get everyone's hopes up.
No, but you, I mean, you're getting there, right? Like we all have,
yeah.
Like we all have goals. Like I definitely want to try and be a better songwriter, and I don't think I'm there yet. Like I write songs and then I listen back to them and I'm like, oh, just edit, Nikolai, edit.
Great.
Because you know. So tell me about, so in the Spotify playlist, there's 2 songs. One of them is You and I. Is that what it's called? Tell me about that song.
Okay. So You and I, and the other one we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Started off as quite spontaneous. Like I just tend to sit on my guitar and sometimes just blurt out what is, I don't know, flowing outside of me.
Yeah.
And the song was initially about the idea that we're all the same. When we break down all the things that make us human, we really just want acceptance and to be loved. And so, you know, the lyric is, you're just like me, you're just like I, you and I, we're just alike. And so that's where that was coming from. And a lot of my music is inspired by the like human desires, you know. And so I wrote that song, and I not long after, because I think I released it in 2019, so I think it was 2018. I was supporting a friend in Germany, and she was doing a tour, so I was playing the song, and it was at a wedding, and then the bride and groom, they had like plans to dance some other song, but then they decided to dance to that as their like first song.
Oh, wow.
And so hard, I was like, oh my gosh, is this happening? And ever since then, it just seemed to grow into this romantic song. I'm like, it's not for lovers, this is for everyone, but you don't have to change songs how they like. So, and ever since then, even my producer, Fermi, who I worked with on the EP where I released You and I, he made that his first dance as well. So,
but you know, like the interesting thing is that I've come to realize that no matter what you think a song is or what it means to you as the writer, once you release it and it goes out into the world, people take it and they do whatever they want with it. And sometimes people come back and tell you that this song means this, and this to them, and you're like, oh, all right, cool. That was literally about somebody I met on the bus for 2 seconds. And you know, it turns into like, so you know, you can't, like, it can't be precious anymore too.
Yeah. And I guess that's when I do write songs, and I'm sure as everyone knows, I have that mentality of, I actually hardly write songs without the intention of, if I can't actually release this to the world, I'm not going to finish this song. I know some people write with the idea of like therapy, and I do value it and I do it, but if I can't express myself in a way that I'm willing to share with others, I then put that song down for a while until it's time for me to express it in such a way that I can release it.
Wow. Wow. Like I cannot tell you how many songs I have written and finished and put in the bin.
That's not bad. and one day you pick them up and use them.
Oh, they're gone. Like they're gone. I don't want anything to do with that song again because it's not where I want to be anymore, kind of thing.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe my world is upside down because I think most people are like that, aren't they? They just make loads and, you know, write a lot. I actually, I write, but I write very, very slowly.
Yeah.
But then again, I write very slowly because I write songs and then I start, I'm like, can't share this, so. Yeah.
Tell me about the other song. It's called
To the Brim.
To the Brim.
Yes. To the Brim was my first ever, well, yeah, my first single. Like, you know, when I told you in 2016, I decided, you know, I'm going to be a musician. And so I played every gig. So my friend drove me to every single open mic within a space of like 2 months. I went to like almost every day, like going to open mics. And then later on, I released To the Brim. And I just thought, you know what, like, I pray that it does well. I pray that it reaches people, but not knowing within a few weeks it hit like 50K streams on Spotify. I was like, damn. Like, okay, maybe that was the defining moment of where I was like, okay,
maybe I should keep doing this then.
Sorry?
Maybe I should keep doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people are responding to it. And I guess that gave me motivation to want to keep doing music. Not that streams, to be honest with you, should mean anything, but for me, as someone that obviously hadn't done it, didn't have a passion for it, and was just going for it, that gave me the confidence to go, no, people will dig your music, just keep going.
Yeah, I get you. Like that's an interesting thing, right? Is that I guess the thing, the streams don't, or the validation. Streams is really validation, right? It's like somebody going, I recognize that you are doing something, and I'm gonna give you the time of day to listen to your thing. The validation doesn't necessarily drive you to begin, but it's very, very helpful to continue. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not the impetus to start making a thing or to become a musician or to become an artist, but it's very useful and helpful to give you the next bit, which is, I'm going to continue. Somebody's listening to this and somebody's liking this, or somebody thinks this is all right to be in the world, then it means that I have that little bit of confidence to write something else or to go and do something else. And that's really, really incredible. And that's really important, because I think without that, then it becomes a real insular exercise, and becomes a ever decreasing lonely exercise, because you're just talking to yourself, right? If art isn't consumed by somebody else, then I argue that it's not really art. You know what I mean? It's something else entirely. So, Jennifer, tell us about the Ben Howard album that you put up. It's called Kingdom Come. No, I'm.
No, it's called Every Kingdom.
Every Kingdom, right? That's what it's called. Tell us why you like this album.
Okay, so Ben, I basically like everything, every song that Ben Howard has done in
ever.
Yeah. Ben Howard was like the person that kind of defined where I was going to go with music. So I started sort of like writing music and stuff, and I saw him perform on Jules Holland, just like on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was absolutely captivated, just because of like the fragility of his voice, and the fact that, you know, he takes you on every journey. And so for me, during that time, like I basically just decided to consume more of his music, because I was like, I want to hear every single thing this guy has ever sort of released. And during that time was the time where, you know, he, like, Every Kingdom was quite popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to sort of listen to him, but he takes me back to, I know it sounds weird, but he there's a artist I love in Rwanda called Kamariza, and it's just like the poetic writing, the way that he writes, and I think he plays the guitar like you know when you use every aspect of the guitar.
Yeah.
He sings in the guitar. It's crazy, but and so for me it was kind of like, okay, well, if I'm gonna write and if I'm gonna express myself, I want to do it like this guy. And he's one of those people where I've seen him perform live where it's almost like it's like you're there, he's on stage, and this can't work with every musician where the musician hardly even interacts that much with the audience. He comes, he sings his songs, and he's out. And his songs speak for themselves. I think that's what I like about Ben Howard. Like, his songs just speak for themselves. It's almost like you don't even have to know him. You just have to, every song embodies and is personified. So I basically.
What's your favorite song on the album?
Everything is really nice, and I think it's the reason why I love it is just the imagery, you know, like you can tell that he's a country boy.
Yeah.
When he writes that in his music, that's always like a prominent.
He grew up in Devon, so you know it feels like he's writing about Devon and Cornwall and that side of England, you know.
Yeah, it's just so pretty. And so yeah, for me it was sort of like most people expect me to, like, you know, have listened to all these like old folk artists, you know, and I honestly don't. Like, I guess I've been munching on all these like new artists.
Like who are you munching on?
So like, just, you know, various artists like you might not maybe know of, but like you know, this guy called like Benjamin Clementine. I like folk stuff like Lumineers and Sons and just that kind of vibe. And I know they're probably I'm probably partaking of stuff that they've, you know, albums that they've kind of grown up on and stuff. But that's why I get a bit nervous when people are like, "What do you like?" I'm like, If I told you what I liked when I was growing up, you have to listen. I would have to say Missy Elliott or something like that, and that would not be interesting.
Well, I think what, you know, whatever your influences are, whatever music you listen to when you're growing up, that works its way into your songwriting and into your psyche, right? You write from that spot. So the thing that makes an artist unique, I think, is that they have all these different influences. Like Carl was saying about us the other day, is that we come from such different places musically, and it all meets in this one band. And he was like, I have no idea how all of this works together, but somehow it works. And like with you, I feel like you can hear some of that. So like the end of To the Brim is really interesting, right? When you come down in the last like minutes of the song, it takes on this kind of bounce that comes into it, which one I wasn't expecting, and two is just like you can feel like a real kind of urban, and you can hear the drums in it, although it's just you playing a guitar. So Ben Howard would never do that. You know what I mean? So it's unique to you, and that has to come from R&B and hip hop when you're growing up in that with that kind of music, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's all good. I think it's all valid too. I don't think any kind of like I don't think any music is invalid. I might not like some of it, but I think it has a right to exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just remember hearing when we heard you. Yeah, I was just like, I was like this. I was like, oh, I was just as if I was in a zone, because we've done quite a few of those, what do they call them? Sofar Sounds. And like, it's very, very rare that you actually hear something and it's like, yeah, that's it. you know, this is what it's about, and honesty, the crystal voice, the crystal placement. It's just I was just totally, I was like, I'm in love with this. Don't make it go away. I remember you being a bit nervous and like, oh, is the sound okay? I'm thinking, yeah, it's all good. And your presence was like, yeah, it's Sofa Lounge and Sofa Sounds, and I'm just gonna just be me. And that's what's so beautiful about watching you, just you, and everybody just got sucked in, you know.
Yeah, and it's so disarming too. Like you come up there and you start playing and you start talking and everybody's like, oh, it just feels like we in her front room, just hanging out with her in her front room.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. Really.
That sofa set was really memorable. Do you guys remember what happened when you guys started playing? A rave went down.
Yeah. People started to go. Yeah.
Incredible. Like, did we sing together? I don't know if we. I don't know.
No, we didn't sing together, but you came on the stage with us. You get the yeah, because we had everybody up dancing and everybody, and then they turned the lights off and everybody had their phones out. It was really, really good. It was really.
That should have been filmed, man. Like, yeah.
It was such a fun night.
And we were like, just like make sure her sound is good. Make sure all of us were like, make sure. But it was the lake. When I got home, I kept talking about it. I was like, oh my
God. We are going to have to wrap it up because we're coming to the end of our wonderful, wonderful chat. I mean, we could stay talking to you for hours and hours and hours. So tell us what you're up to next. What you have coming up?
Okay, so in a couple of weeks, I'm releasing a song called Black Skin, which I wrote. I actually wrote just before lockdown. No, it was during lockdown, but it was actually, you know, before the movement happened, and
yeah.
And I just a friend of mine called Tanya, who produced the track, like she sent me a few things over, and I just, it has such a, you know, the track just had such a groove to it, and I wanted to write about being proud of having dark colored skin, and sort of having that pride. And it was only after like the movement happened we thought, oh, you know what, like actually this is a good time for us to release something like this, to bring something positive. So
if it's out by the time everybody's watching this, I will definitely make sure and put the song in the show notes as well, and in that playlist. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun talking.
All right, thank you very much, Jennifer. From me and Carl, thank you so much, and bless you, and we'll see you soon. Selector. Can I ask you one last thing before we bounce? Your name is Kamikazi, right? Where does that name come from?
Okay, so Kamikazi actually means little queen or princess in Rwandese.
All right, okay.
And it just happens to have that same
Japanese context as well, right?
Which is cool because then I didn't have to think of an artist name.